Hi there, this is Geeks Assembled, and Lee and I are together, and we are doing another Audio Heads uh, review of an audio drama. This time, because it's our super creepy, super spooky month of October, we're reviewing a BBC audio drama that is in 5 parts. It's called English Rose, and it's about an au pair slash nanny of a very unique uh, youngster, let's say. And it's I guess it's an older story. It's
It's
a
it's from last year.
No, but the story part is slightly like older. It's kind of in the same vein as Dark Shadows. It's
Oh
that
right, yeah.
it's like the English uh the English Rose being the nanny herself, being the one that's actually kind of the most instrumental part of this story. And it's not actually about the baby, like uh but yeah, it's an old tale, like Mary Poppins, and they reference that and other stuff. Anyway, it's a story written by Helen Gross, and it's got a pretty good cast. But I just like to, before I go there, I'd like to find out what Lee thought of this, and your opening thoughts on English Rose.
Well, I've never heard it before. So it's a fairly modern drama. So it was broadcast on Radio 4 last year. Um, and to have the Rose from Whitby to have a Yorkshire accent like I have.
Like you have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Traveling to New York to become a nanny for this strange family and their baby Gulliver.
Uh-huh.
Um, I didn't know what to expect, because it does start with, well, it does start, it's all the way through these 5 episodes with Rose sort of narrating as well
Uh,
what she's thinking.
yeah, but
Um,
it wasn't like narration. It was internal monologue, right?
yeah, yeah, I
All
know
right.
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes, I did that. I thought, oh, here we go. Is this gonna take away from my enjoyment of these 5 episodes? But it didn't, because it wasn't overdone. Um, yeah, you get this. She becomes the nanny of this family. This, what's the name? Is it Maya and Austin, who are quite well off,
Mhm.
who are a bit strange. They've got secrets.
Mhm.
Um, and it's her coming to terms with being in New York because, well, shall we say, well, she's a vampire,
Mhm.
is Rose.
Mhm.
Um, and she's fleeing Whitby because she couldn't control her urges there,
Mhm.
which got her into trouble, which have got her family over there into trouble. They're on the run, they're being hunted. She's gone across the ocean for this job, which we found out later on she was asked to do
Mhm.
by this other vampire clan,
Mhm.
uh, because it turns out Gulliver is a vampling, as it was said in the drama, um, because the family couldn't have children.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it was an interesting story and some interesting characters in this. Because you're having the sort of Rose falling in love with, oh, what's the character? Is it Delphine?
Yes.
Um, you have Siobhan, who's supposedly her friend, but goes behind her back to the head of the family. Yeah, an interesting story.
Yeah,
Left, and when you get to the end of the fifth part, you're left wondering what happens, because it sort of finishes on a, not a cliffhanger, but just finishes in open ended. There's not a real conclusion,
right.
and I don't think there's a sequel to this. So I don't know. I don't know what happens to these characters, but yeah, it was an enjoyable 5 part drama. Different. The the music in this as well was quite good. The underlying musical score was
Yeah.
quite. I enjoyed that. So, but yeah, that's my opening thoughts anyway, Suzanne.
Well, this was this looked really interesting. I thought that it might be the story um, of sort of a ghostly figure, but this became more of she's a vampire sort of coming into her own strength and power. Like she hasn't used any of her real energy, the real energy of being a vampire yet. She's drunk lots of people. She's yes, she's on the run, but she is not, stepped into her power. She hasn't used her
Mhm.
super speed, her jump, her glamour, all of these really these things that require a hell of a lot of concentration and interest and integrity uh, as a vampire. Um, and I just think that her grasping at this was really fun, and I think that the sort of the interpersonal relationships that she makes are are you know they're just there to challenge her. Like she really has very few honest to goodness friends. Delphine, she's absolutely in love with, but Delphine is really distant. I mean, really emotionally unavailable. Like that's just it's like it's amazing, um and all of these people that she finishes off, uh she begins to be able to control some of her urges. At the end of the story, she goes into a restaurant, a diner, and orders all the meats, but she asks for
Raw,
them raw.
raw. Yeah.
And she's like, the kid will have it too. And the waitress is like, what kind of asshole are you?
Yeah.
And I just think that like that was really cool. And so she's learning to sort of control, because also all throughout this story, every single instance where somebody dies, it all looks like it's her.
Mm.
And there's a lot of investigating of people being drained of blood. And so, at the beginning of this thing, they don't even talk about the characters in terms of vampirism. You're kind of just left thinking that this is serial killing.
Mm.
And then you get this sense that when she starts talking about her power and coming into herself, that's when you're like, oh, this chick's a vampire. And so that takes a while. So even with their inner monologue, you don't know what's up. So I mean, it does drag you sort of kicking and screaming through the first episode, not knowing, and so it's slow. Like the first episode seems slow, but they just don't want to tell you everything right off the bat. And that was kind of interesting. I mean, that's one of those things that you do when you're revealing a new monster on Doctor Who, is like you just drag it out for that first 15-20 minutes, either, or like the way it was in Classic Who, it would drag it out to the end of the first episode, and then you'd see the plunger and the whisk, the killing whisk. You just, you come to that place, and you're face to face with the first antagonist, and that's what happens, is that she's not really shown off like she's got like she's just she's not, anyway. The hunting is going on, and eventually you do meet her whole family, all like her mother and everything show up. Then you find out that this guy Jason or something was the father of Gulliver, and he's off in a little cabin in the woods. So you're like, oh, what kind of this could be like a cabin in the woods kind of story, and I thought that's where that was going. Anyway, there was a lot of these things that were like it looked like you were going to go off on this trope, and then it wouldn't go there. And the biggest one was the Delphine and Rose story, where you thought that they would, that Delphine would be changed, but it wasn't Delphine that was changed, it was Maya. It was
the mother of the Gulliver.
Right. So anyway, what did I probably went into a few of the things that I was noticing. What about you? What were some of your favorites? Or,
well, for me personally, I sort of guessed from episode 1 there was something not right. By episode 2, I knew vampire, because episode 1 she was on the ship coming to America. Locked door, pillars up against the windows to keep the light out. Then further on in the story, she's full body swimsuit to protect her body from the sun. All these sort of things. And then, of course, you get the interruptions from the mum and family on the run. We're being hunted all these years, and all, you think, yeah, it's the vampires, Whitby. Big. That's the big clue, Whitby.
of course. Oh wait, because that's where the
Dracula.
Demeter lands, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you only just? Well, yeah. As I said, it was the weirdness of the family of Alex. Is it Austin expecting the nanny to do as he willed, to go off and to be raped by Randy just to get a business deal through, or stuff like that. I mean, Randy got his comeuppance, trying to rape Rose. All the bad people's got the comeuppance. There was bodies found everywhere on the roofs, and but yeah, it was an real interesting story. She was going out on a night feeding in New York. They thought they had a serial killer. I mean, and police had took her in several times because of the connections between Randy and all like that, but in fact they couldn't do anything about it. until she turned Maya into a vampire who couldn't control the ages,
Anything.
anything. She was just so out there. It was Rose who was trying to rein her in. All because she thought that would be the best way for her to bond with Gulliver, because
Mhm.
he was the birth mother,
Mhm.
and she didn't seem to think that the baby loved her.
Mhm.
But the connection was it was connecting with the vampire.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a good story, but as I say, it just felt open ended. There was no real conclusion. She got a voicemail from Delphine saying we'll meet at so and so. This will be the only chance we'll meet,
Mhm.
and then they just went finished sort of thing. All right, it
Yeah.
was building up, it was building up and building up, and then just didn't go nowhere at the end. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if who's the author, Helen Cross. I don't know if she's written a second part to this or not. I don't know. So who knows?
Who
There might
knows?
there might be yeah there might be an English Rose part two. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, a nice um, story. What takes you on a great ride.
True. It's
Um,
fantastic that way. I I thought that the story was rich. I didn't I liked the inner monologue stuff because her attitude was like she was a fun person to hang out with in her mind. Uh, Rose
we're not
was.
not if she gets her teeth into you.
No, but I mean, like her fear for Gulliver, her fear of the hunters, her
Yeah,
strength, and that coming of her strength. She's just a young lady, she's young as a vampire, and she's young as a human, or as a whatever, person on the earth, and she's got she's just learning all about this stuff that's going on with her, and so like that's really, that's what's really amazing about her story growth. And yeah, I liked the fact that there was like this sort of old world versus new world kind of thing,
hmm
like the vampire clans, and then the sort of more what's it called, proletariat, no, uh, um, just a populist, sort of Americanized ideal. And I also like the fact that even though uh, even though this one was the second story that we reviewed this week that had a little bit of sexual violence, or sexual violence sort of as a possibility, the response, like the story was told as to finish that, you know, with punishment, and not. I mean, Creep was had incredible punishment, immediate karma, and this one was a little longer arc, but still, I don't know. It's just frustrating. It does make you think, like, you know, don't trust white guys in the long term, and anyway, that's Uh, the other thing that was interesting was the cast was I don't know any, I didn't know any of the cast. I didn't know Alexandra Martel, Miranda Braun, Dmitry Goritsas, I mean, Deidre Mullins, Yasmin Ozdemir,
Well,
Michael.
I had to look up the cast because to say the names weren't very familiar with me.
Yeah,
Uh, the woman who played Rose uh, appeared in Coronation Street at one point,
okay,
but I don't watch that, so I haven't really seen her in it. But apart
right.
from that, the names are all new to me.
All new. And that's interesting because Lee and I have listened to so many audios and I mean both BBC and Bafflegab and Big Finish, all these great audio producers, even some fan made stuff that's like comes from less popular sources, and yeah, none of the cast, none none of this production was known to me, and so
Yeah,
uh it was just a really interesting um and so like I guess like Mary Poppins, like maybe we'll see these actors and actresses in other things later,
you never know.
because or hear them later, because
Mhm.
it was really good work what they did. But the uh and Mary Poppins, and they referenced Mary Poppins in this, so that was fun.
The English Nanny.
The English Nanny. That's quite. So
Yeah,
what else would you like to say about this?
I, I did like as I said, I did like the interruptions of the news flashes, the news reports.
Right?
Every episode had them. You know, it was all about the English back in Britain. All these news reports about bodies being found here and all like that. And I think, all right. I thought that was really well putting into different segments of the story. Then you get the idea. Oh, this is why she's
On the
gone
run.
across there. But she's gone across there because she accepted the job from Jason
Uh-huh.
to become the nanny of the baby vampire
Uh-huh.
to look after him.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
but
think
you,
Jason was the father. I think that
I
was
think he, I
the
think
fourth
he was,
episode. I think it said that.
yeah, I think he was the sperm donor.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it all comes together in the final episode. It all makes sense.
Does.
And then to get Mam and the clan across there in America.
Yeah.
Well, she was a powerful vampire. She sorted Jason out.
Mhm.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was something different. Um, some a new writer to me, new actors to me.
New
Um,
actors. Not
mm,
not nobody.
as I said, I didn't know what to expect because you just chose it. So what about this English Rose? Yeah, we'll do that. I didn't know what it was about until I pressed play.
Mhm.
Um, vampires.
And did it add to anything to the lore? I don't know if it did. I did like the fact that her friend had a cross, and she was
Yeah.
like, and she was like, that only works if you're like a true believer.
Yeah. Also, well, I mean, I know it's been done before, but they were walking around in sunlight,
In sunlight, yeah.
um, and she didn't have a reflection in the mirror, so that was she didn't want to. She wouldn't put the clothes on in front in the chain in the shop. She had to do it in the cleaning room. Yeah, I don't think it's added anything to it.
Yeah, that was the two things that I noticed.
Yeah, but I know we've had vampires before walking in the daylight.
Mhm.
So, but yeah,
The Gary Oldman Dracula, Bram
mm,
Stoker's Dracula.
yeah,
I mean, that was pretty much like stating that there is no trouble for at least the Count to
yeah,
dwell in light.
yeah. It was a fun listen. As I say, it was just a bit of a weird ending for me. I thought, any more? I mean, with it being 5 episodes as well, I
Uh-huh.
thought, oh, is there another episode?
Yeah.
But there wasn't. It's a
So
bit of an
what?
odd number for episode was.
Yeah. So what's your rating on it?
Well, I would give it because I enjoyed it. As the inner monologues didn't really spoil it. I thought they would. I thought it would because I thought, oh, here we go. But they didn't do too much of that.
Okay.
So for me, I'm going to give it 10. Oh, meaty throats out of 10.
And I'll give it an 8. I was expecting when I found out it was vampires, I was expecting a
Mm-hmm.
little more of the romantic part of vampirism and less the this is how families are structured part of vampirism. But that was just me. That was just what I wanted, and you don't always get what you want, but it was a good story anyway. Um, the fact that it was completely unknown cast, completely unknown writer, and just a really good sort of horror story. And I guess the one thing that it added to the lore for me was that babies could be born from
Yeah.
vampire parents, and that was news to me because as far as I've always heard is that they're only the only way to really create a vampire is to do a blood transfusion with a vampire. So
But also as
drinking
well,
blood.
aren't you supposed to be dead?
It is supposed to kill you. Yeah.
So this bit, yeah. Now you've said that, I didn't. Yeah, it hasn't. So the baby was alive, but also a vampire.
Yeah. Weird.
Hmm.
I mean, it just added some different lore to the lore because that was not the way it was, you know, it wasn't.
I never thought of that until you've just said. Yeah. Hmm. So much to think about there.
Yeah,
There must there must be another there must be another story to this.
yeah, there must be.
Like, she must. She might be writing it now.
Yeah,
You know.
we hope. Get to work, Helen. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we Miss Cross or Ms. Cross or whatever. Uh, well, thank you for watching our video here about English Rose. We encourage you to always hire English nannies, always have them come from Yorkshire, because Yorkshire is apparently the spot that makes them the nicest. And then they come from Whitby. You really ought to check, make sure. double vet, triple vet, make sure that they are, living, breathing humans and not vampires, I suppose. And then also, as you're watching our videos, like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. Because in this notification, you'll get told that we're turning out new stuff. And we review a couple things a week, and we do audios, we do movies, TV,
Yeah.
do some sound, some albums, some musical, and we do a lot of fandom sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And and this is our Halloween spooky time. And we're doing 2 movies by the same director, one this week, one next week. Next week it's Severance. And I just encourage you to watch those when they come out,
Mhm.
and also get a hold of Lee when you want to, because he's the one to talk to if you want to join us. And all you gotta have is be 18, because the movie that we reviewed this week was definitely 18 rated.
Mhm.
And the subject matter can be a little, especially this week, a little rapey and horrible. And then there's having a device that works, and Zoom that works, and mic and
Yeah.
camera that work, and then just join us on a Sunday at about 9 p.m. Greenwich time, and Zulu, 9 p.m. Zulu, and we're happy to have you. Anyway,
Yeah, sure. More the
so
merrier.
yeah, so be careful where you hang out. Don't hang out in the subway. Don't sleep in the subway. Don't leave your children unattended. And take care.